This is the Real Estate Power Play Podcast, getting you the information that you need to become a successful real estate investor. Hosted by Mark Monroe, Ronald Walker, Gabe Rodarte, and me, Marty Grizzanti. Combined, we've done thousands of real estate transactions. So get ready for real stories and true case studies on finding deals, growing portfolios, and making money. Welcome to the show.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Real Estate Power Play. Again, coming to you every Tuesday. Today we got Mark, Gabe, Marty, myself, Ronnie. We're talking about the mindset, getting your mind right, being a real estate entrepreneur. So to start us off, man, I'm gonna make you big, Mark. Man, what's going on over there, bro?
It's going well. In Portugal, what's it called? Quito, Portugal, about 20 minutes of west of Lisbon. What's that, Marty? Gabe?
I love it. Gabe, did you say something?
Yeah, I'm trying to get my screen up. Hold on.
Yeah, get your screen up. You got to look at that beach, bro. That's awesome. So what's taking you over to Portugal as far as getting? Aren't you? I hear you're doing a little bit or wanting to do a little bit of real estate over there.
We are. We actually networked, met with a realtor yesterday for about 4 hours. Got to know their system. The system is totally different than the U.S. And it's actually also done by like the county and counties, kind of like how we are with the state. So yeah. So once I get educated a little bit more about it, I'll bring you guys up to speed about it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this.
That. So, we're talking about mindset today, and Mark, I know you can't stay with us the whole time, so I'm gonna focus on that. But how do you change your mindset to not only be able to travel and invest virtually in the United States, but opening up to, I'm actually gonna invest and buy a property over here? Like, what does it take to kind of go bigger and think like that? What were some of those hurdles you overcome, and what does that look like, man?
To me, there was no hurdles. You just got to go for it. You know what I mean? You just kind of go through. I mean, I guess just learning through the past years of experience in real estate in general. I mean, just like you guys. I mean, I see you were in Ireland not too long ago. I see Gabe, he's traveling all over the place, and Marty's getting ready to do his big event in a week or two.
Yeah, and really, it's just a matter of setting a goal and just kind of building out from there. Marty, I know, man, you talk a lot about mindset, man. Why don't you kind of kick us off, bro? Like, how do you sharpen yourself? You talk a lot about like callousing the mind, right?
Yes.
Why is that important? And getting sharper and gradually getting better and better, when it comes to real estate, like, why do you do that? Why do you put yourself through so much freaking torture so that you can be better, you have the mindset? What's the connection there?
That's it. You're starting your day off, right? If you start your day off with a tough activity, a run, a cold shower, push-ups, whatever it is, you start off your day with a tough activity so that the rest of your day is not so bad, right? I like to fast until around 12, 1 o'clock. So I don't eat until after 8:30, I'm done. So that like during that time, I'm just mentally getting prepared all the time for the conquest and the battle that real estate is every day. And that's why I do it, because I want to be the best I can be. I need to get that little bit every single day over my competition. So when I'm doing the things I know they're not, I have a confidence that helps me continue on.
It's good. That's good. So it's about building confidence.
Ronnie, those little wins, right? So for me, the confidence is having wins daily, little wins daily. So when I say to myself, and I keep a promise to myself, I'm not going to eat after 12. I'm going to get my run in. I'm going to do my visualization. I'm going to do my affirmation. And I do those things. That's how you build up wins. That's what leads to confidence, when you keep a promise to yourself.
Gabe, I want you to weigh in a little bit. And I know you're kind of taking some of that stuff and then putting it into practice with kind of time management and your day and your week and what you're accomplishing. What do you have to add to that, bro?
So what we do is, and I love it, Marty. It's so good. We do the same thing with our kids. I mean, our kids do soccer. All right. It's one of the family sports that we do. And I just take what we've learned from real estate investing and business and having not just a great mindset. And we can define that in a bit, but really looking at the day and saying, okay, what can we do today in this moment? And really the differential factor, if you guys listen to Ed Milet at all, it's literally just a couple of percentage points. It's only maybe 5% or less that distinguish us from anybody else, right? And so what we do is that in the morning, I normally go for a run or a walk. It depends on if I want coffee while I'm on the trail or not. And the kids are out there, they're with me, and they have their soccer balls, and they're going. We just did another one this morning at 7 a.m. We've been hitting it up at 7 a.m. every day. That causes a little bit of friction for us. And we do some challenges while we're out there. And so what we do, though, is the exact same thing that we got to do in business. Is you have to mix it up every now and then. You got to be fresh with it. You don't want to be stale. You don't want to be just that vanilla normal stuff, right? And so to mix it up, you got to be willing to challenge yourself in the mornings and throughout the day as you go about stuff. So that's a little bit about what we do, and we could definitely dive into a lot more today.
I love that. Anything to add, Mark?
Well, I was going to ask you, what about your thoughts on how do you get yourself, Ronnie, into the mindset game?
Yeah, I think on the mindset side, really it comes down for me is focus, right? I love the little wins, right? Because the little wins build confidence. And it also, what I like to say is it builds courage, right? Because it takes courage to jump into the business, especially when you're constantly exploring things that you don't know. People often don't want to do cold calling, right? They're like, God, I can't think about picking up the phone and calling people I don't know, and hitting a bunch of people with no. And one of the things I like to tell, especially people coming new, is, dude, if cold calling does nothing else, it builds your courage, and that courage allows you to get past call reluctance. It allows you to call the realtor in Portugal and say, yo, I'm looking to buy a property. I don't know anything. Can we sit down and talk about it? Because here's my situation. This is what I'm looking to accomplish. And you have kind of the confidence, the ability to go out in the unknown. I think it was Elon Musk who said, like, starting your own business is like eating glass and staring into the abyss at the same time, right? Like, you don't know what's on the other side. Yeah. You don't know what you're going to hit. And so the mindset of the small wins, plus building the courage to kind of stand on your own 2 feet. Most people, I find this, especially when I bring on new acquisitions or new sales, is they're used to having some type of job that or that gives them a sense of security by an average paycheck, rather than the security coming off their own skill. And so changing that mindset of, yo, my activity dictates my future, right? And being able to build that courage that, you know what, when I say I'm going to do something, I'm actually going to do it, which means my word means something, and it allows me to grow. So if I say I'm going to make 15 calls, I made 15 calls. If I say I'm going to talk to 30 sellers, I'm going to talk to 30 sellers. If I say I'm going to talk to 5 realtors, I'm going to do it. And so I really think it's about building that inner confidence, right? It's that inner man, because we got 2 people, right? We got the lazy, luxurious, I want to sit on the beach and, do nothing, right? Sorry, Mark.
Speaking of the beach,
right? Then we've got the other person where it's like, you know what? I gotta get to work. I got to do this, because if I do this, it'll lead to this lifestyle that I really want. And this feeling is what really matters to me. This lifestyle is what really matters to me, not today's comfort, right? And then you can really enjoy it when you get there, rather than just being lazy and not hitting your goals and not accomplishing them and just kind of being a bum, right? But nobody knows it. So to me, that's kind of what mindset means, is what are you doing on a daily basis that pushes you forward to being able to be more focused and to rise above kind of that average lifestyle. So we have courage in ourselves to build businesses and be the leaders to show other people how to do it too. So that's kind of, when I think about it and how it impacts the business, that's where I want to go. So I want to take a slight adjustment to mindset. How do we, so this week, we had a guy reach out to us where he actually reached out to Mark and pushed over with a deal that's coming out, and come to us and say, hey, here's what I've got going on. I'm trying to put this deal together. I want to figure out how to work with you guys and kind of go through the details to get this deal wrapped up. How do you guys switch from, let me keep everything myself and do everything A to Z, to figuring out what aspect you're going to specialize in and what you're going to partner with other people on? How does that affect you guys emotionally? And how do you, I guess, enhance your mindset that the people you're working with really dictate your net worth? Anybody want to speak to that and what that looks like?
Gabe?
Gabe, Mark, what's up?
Yeah, so you're basically talking about the teamwork aspect of spreading things out. Right?
Yeah, kind of the having half of a watermelon rather than a full grape concept, right? Like, how does partnering with other people expand your business rather than limit the amount you're making?
That's huge. Well, there's a lot of things to that, and one of the things that I'd have to say is, like, you really have to. The first partner for me is basically with when you're waking up in the morning, you're partnering with yourself, and you're partnering with, people call it the universe, God, whatever you want to call it. Like, you got to understand that you're partnering with that to begin with in your business. So with that, there's unlimited opportunity. There's awesome areas for growth. There's awesome things to accomplish. And it really helps me get into the mindset of, like, I can't do all this stuff on my own. There's so much great opportunity. I'm going to need to have other people around me. I want to have these other relationships around me to grow and to build. And I think that's where for me, that's where the foundation is really set, is in the beginning of going, okay, I have a lot of opportunity. I need people around me. I want people around me. And I want to be a blessing to those people that we are able to work together, whether it's JVs or partners or title companies I'm working with or a transaction coordinator, whatever it is, they have a service that I need, or a deal that gets brought to me, or a lender that wants to put money to work. This is a team sport. And so we look at it of going, well, I want to do all this myself, managing properties to doing whatever you want to do. And we're talking real estate investing, but this is in general. Then we will literally limit all of the opportunity and will be very narrow focused. And I just don't see a lot of growth in that area. I think there's only one strategy for that, and it's just you doing all the work. And so for me, I definitely like to look at it from that point of view of saying, hey, there's a lot of abundance. Abundance mindset, by the way, guys, for everyone who's watching this, abundance mindset isn't like telling everybody your business. Okay. So that's where there's a misunderstanding there. It's like, a lot of people ask me, well, hey, tell me exactly how you're grabbing all your deals. And I'm like, well, we've spent 7 years really honing down what we do. I'll tell you how you can go get some deals and how you can get going. Right. But how we do stuff, I mean, it's taken us a while to get all of our systems up and going, and we love it. The idea of being abundance mindset is understanding that there's enough opportunity for even all of us four to go. And we're so diverse in what we do that a deal, any one of us can go work on a deal together. It could be two of us on one transaction or all four of us on a transaction, depending on the size. So I look at it from that point of view, is like, there's a lot of opportunity. Yeah, I want to be able to accomplish more, and I can't do that just with me hitting my own wind resistance. Like, I need a team to do it.
That's good. Marty, you got anything to add to that?
Gabe said it really well. I actually think that we might have an ego that says, hey, I'm better than this person at this role. When in reality, there's a lot better people in a number of different roles. So the more I can go away from things and let people do what they like to do, right? Put people in roles that they like doing. Yeah, I'm good at it, but do I like it? Right? Yeah. So when you can find someone who likes it, and maybe they're not as good, but they like it, they're going to work harder at it. They're not going to let things kind of slip through the cracks on things. They're going to take, I guess what it is finding a network of people that are going to take ownership of that part of the business. Then you really got something special.
Well, and I think that taps into what Napoleon Hill talks about of, like, desire, right? Like having desire is a key element in our mindset, and probably one of the first foundational points of what do I want? What's my internal fire that propels me towards that? And if you don't like it, it's like, well, I probably am fighting doing that thing, right? Well, if that's the case, someone else wants it, someone else has the capacity to do it, and they're the right person. Well, you plug them in, even if I can do it well, I might not want to do that, right? And I think to make that even stronger, to kind of pour gasoline on it, the way I look at that is, well, now not only do they have the desire, but my favorite principle actually in Napoleon Hill is, the working for free concept, right? Or not, excuse me. I like the working for free, but the specialized knowledge concept, right? Of not only do I desire it, but now I have specialized knowledge that is above what other people have, which allows me to add value in the thing that I'm good at, right? You and Mark, I would love to hear your thoughts, but there's in specialized knowledge, it's not only, hey, I know more than others, but I know I'm going to learn from everybody about this one topic, right? And I know, Mark, I know you've done a lot of this, but, I'm one people like, do you like education? Do you like reading that? I mean, obviously you got books, but there's also an aspect of like, hey, this one thing, I want to go to all the events. I want to buy all the courses. I want to get what everybody knows, and I want to synthesize that so I have additional knowledge above everybody else. So now I have the desire. I have the courage that I'm building every day. And now I have specialized knowledge, which takes our mindset to, this is really possible, which increases our potential. And as long as we take action, we can realize that potential. Mark, how do you, I know you kind of operate in that realm a lot. How do you think about that?
I'm going to be jumping off here in a second, but one of the biggest things for mindset for me, and I've always told people over the years, is like when they look at failure. Failure is you have to look at it as a learning experience. That is, you're just failing. If you're not failing, you're not learning, and you're not moving forward. So keep that in mind. That's one of the biggest mindsets. And what do you guys think about like that? That's how I look at mindset. If you're not failing, you're not learning, and you're not moving forward.
Yeah, I like that. I think because as we hit the unknown, we can get coaches and we can shortcut it, but at some point we're going to get resistance.
Exactly. Right? And then just reach out. Yep. Yeah. Just reach out to people that, definitely.
Yeah. And as we're making mistakes, that's actually a sign of growth, right? Think of like when you're working out, you're breaking down your muscle. You're breaking down, you're callousing your mind as you're getting used to doing the stuff you don't like. Why? So it can be rebuilt, right? When you fail, and you take inventory, think of this. I know in my life, being slightly vulnerable here, the times where I've experienced the most pain are the times that I've actually learned and become the wisest, right? The times where I had a business deal go bad, or I had someone circumvent me, or I had a loophole in my contract that allowed someone to get out and I lost 50 grand, or like those times where I experienced like massive pain where it was like, dang, I was relying on that $50,000, or dude, I only got $12,000 in my bank account. Nobody knows it. And this deal fell through and I got to rush to this. And then this happened. And all of a sudden we go into complete action mode. Like those moments, I almost say they define us and they teach us what it means to have that abundance mindset, right? So I agree. Like failure is not only a part of the journey, but like people want to constantly avoid it and it causes us to be passive. Marty, why don't you kick us off, bro? Kick us back off.
Well, one of the things Gabe and I were talking about during that little intermission was, part of the mindset that I think separates people from, pushing through, right? There's that resistance. There's a resistance that occurs when you're trying to get through to that next level of whatever that might be for you, right? For whatever that success, whatever that burning desire is for you. And I think for me personally is I need to constantly brainwash myself into success, right? I need to constantly, because for whatever reason, and I believe it, that human nature wants you to be safe, right? They want you to stay in a 9-to-5 job and collect that check and quote unquote play it safe, right? Your parents do too, depending on who your parents are. So, and your teachers, right? So you have all the things that are pushing against you to play it safe. So you need to constantly brainwash yourself to say, I can do this. I am successful. And literally just every day work on it. Just like you work on your body at the gym, you got to work on your mind to get it to where you want it to be.
Would you say, would you say that kind of is, there's the concept of like future truth, right? It's not true right now, but it will be true in 3 months from now, or it will be true in 2 years from now, right? I might not be, as I'm starting off, a millionaire today, but like, I'm a millionaire, right? Like I do the things that millionaires do, right? And there's an aspect of the psychology, I think, as Tony Robbins, he talks about, usually it's 80% psychology and 20% skills. Like make sure your skills are right, but like, get your mind right. Like you need to be acting like that person before it ever happens. The reason why they're having success is because they started acting like it today before it ever happened. Because you need to act what you're worth, and then you'll actually be what you're worth. You'll eventually grow into that. Would you agree with that? Disagree?
Oh my God, no doubt that I'm a multimillionaire. I just haven't got the check yet, right? There is no doubt in my mind that is, and what you hear and what you see from the people who've gone down this path, right? Who've started with zero and have become multimillionaires is of the person that they've become to become a multimillionaire is really what they're so happy about, right? So it's a person who does what they say they're going to do, that they're reliable, that are, working out, eating right, have a great mentality, and they're working constantly on getting those things better. And it really comes down to, for me, is don't wish it was easier, wish you were better.
Right.
And that's for me, what I think about on this pursuit, because like you said, we're already millionaires. It's just haven't quite cashed that check yet.
I love that. Gabe, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, this is it right here. Like we're really hitting in it. And I think that one of the things that we miss out on is, and again, it's not to go really gushy, okay, or anything that has to do with, touchy-feely type stuff. But if you're not really working on your belief system, and I'm not saying just belief system in, just having faith, but it's really belief system in yourself. So there's a guy called, and I'm going to butcher his last name because I'm not really good at it, but it's John Assaraf. Okay. And he's got a really cool books out there, and he's been around for a while, and deca millionaire or sold $100 million companies and stuff like that. And one of the things he says is basically whatever you believe about yourself on the inside is what's going to manifest on the outside. And so when you listen to enough of this stuff and you really get into it, you got to realize that, it's so weird even saying it, but you really got to believe that, hey, look, I'm going to manifest this thing and make this thing start happening. And once you start believing that, then you start, your mindset changes, the thought process starts changing. And you really got to believe that we're all, the truth is we're all like a chemical, neuroplasticity to everything else that's going on in our thoughts and our mind and how we're reprogramming things. Stuff that Marty was saying is that like the old mindset wants you to go back and be safe. And as you create this person that you are, that you want to be, and you start really thinking about that, like processing it out. Growth mindset, obviously it's a must. It needs to happen and it's part of it. But the other part that I don't hear a lot of people like really talk about is catching themselves off guard of going, hey, what are you believing right now about yourself? Okay, where's that thought coming from? Or are you just scratching the tape, right? Or scratching the, whatever you want to call it, CD or whatever we use nowadays, scratch it. All right. And then you want to eliminate that because you want to start thinking forward. And believe it or not, like that 5% difference that we're talking about in the first video, That 5% difference happens throughout the day. There are hurdles throughout the day that you just got to catch yourself, right? And go, okay, you know what? This is a little bit of struggle. You know what? Let me try to figure out how to crush it. Let me figure out an answer for this. And so what I've noticed though in my life, in my business, and somewhat to what Mark was saying, because Mark's been doing this for such a long time, that it's after a while, things start changing around you. The environment and the energy around you starts changing, and the energy of my team starts changing. And it's weird to see my team say stuff back to me that I'm like, oh my gosh, that's what we talk about. That's our words, that's our phrasing. And we share that and like air high-fiving each other if it's on Zoom or whatever, or on the phone call whenever we see each other. And guys, this is so key and so important that if you want to be good at what you're doing, you really have to believe in yourself. You got to believe in what's going on between your ears, inside your gut. And once you start believing that, things start happening around. I've been watching Marty. I've known Marty for a year and a half. Things have been transforming around him. His mindset has been completely transformed in less than a year and a half. And things are just happening around him. And he's like, well, I want to go do this thing. This sounds really fun. And then more pieces start coming in, right, to help him grow. It's so amazing. So anyways, I just want to add to that. But I really think that this is important. In our businesses, guys, this is a real estate investing, right?
Yeah.
So it's important because it's not like you're going to sit around in your office and manifest deals, right?
Well,
and make stuff happen just by sitting around. Like you have to be intentional about what you're doing, right? And it's hard to be intentional if you're monkey minding your business and monkey minding what you're doing, and you're not really focused. You're not really going about things in a process manner. So we could talk a little bit about that later.
Yeah. So I think it was 6 years ago, I found myself, at this point, I'd been in the business for about a year and a half. I'd done about 125 deals, and most of them were owner financing. I'm very new. I quit my job, went full time, and I found myself in a spot, business expenses, having money, spending the money very quickly, having partners split the money that I wasn't actually making. I wasn't bringing any money home, right? The business was transacting. On the outside, we're doing lots of deals. Lots of people see what's happening, but on the inside, I'm not pulling any money home, right? And, I'm coming home and I'm like, yo, I've got 120 deals. We got $3 million worth of properties in a portfolio. We've got all this stuff happening on the outside, but we're struggling, right? Like, hey, we got literally hundreds of thousands of dollars transacted through our account, but I'm not keeping any of it at this point, right? And there's 5 people that are supposed to get paid and JV partners that are supposed to get paid, all kinds of different people out there. And then we've got bookkeeping, then taxes come up, then, hey, what is the accounting? Hey, did those people make their payments? Oh, we've got 73 property payments, 5 people missed, foreclosures happening. In this spot is why mindset is key. Because while this stuff happens, you start getting initial success and you start taking action. You're like, yo, building confidence. And then all of a sudden it's like, yo, this goes wrong. Yo, this goes wrong. Yo, this happens. The question is, do we have the mental strength of saying, okay, here's the problem. As the business owner, I got to solve that major problem. Right? Hey, as a business owner, I've got these properties here. I might not be able to do it all myself, but who's the right person to put in place to solve that problem? And then what happens is, as you begin solving those problems that you create, like in my situation, it took a good 6 months to write those issues while I'm dealing with, I need to make money like right now. Right? So where do I focus? What's priority? What are the next steps I need to take? That's where believing in yourself and having those initial milestones and doing the stuff like the cold showers and the building courage. And I did this to when you face a freaking massive problem, right? And it happens to all of us. You get sued. It's part of business, right? You have deals go bad. People, stab you in the back and steal stuff from you. Things go right. Like, it's not all fun and games that everyone wants to say. But when things go that direction, you've built enough courage to be like, yo, I've got my big boy pants on. I'm plugging away. And once I get through this, not only am I going to know the lessons, but I'm going to come out on the other side. And when I come out on the other side, guys, I went through literally like a 12-month process 6 years ago. At the end of 12 months of me having the worst possible financial situation, I felt like the biggest problems. I had a month that I made more in one. It was about 45 days. I netted about 300 grand at the end of it.
Nice.
Right? So you come through, you have all this crap. All these people are paying. Bank account gets low. All this stuff. Yo, I need maybe a lender to give me a business loan. I need this happen. All this stuff's happening. Boom, you start solving the issues one by one by one. Right. And then bam, you take off and you hit the pot of gold. Like, this is normal, but it takes that mental courage for us to get through and really step on the other side. And then you level up your life, right? You level up your business and you set the things in place where not only do those things not happen again, but you're also a better person as a real estate entrepreneur, where you can say, yo, this is what I've overcome. This is what I've done. I've done these deals. I've sold this portfolio. I've accomplished this. Oh, yeah, that problem, dude, this is how I solve that, right? And now you're a repertoire of knowledge through learning, experience, and hardship. That's just, we've just purified ourselves through that fire.
Man, this is good. This is good. And I'm getting excited because one of the things that you were mentioning is, and I've talked to people about this, is putting yourself in the place. And Marty said in the first video, just that callousness, right? And that you kind of want to have that mental hardness. Me and my household, we actually talk about just emotional intelligence and having emotional intelligence and how to not get worked up over certain things, and some things that you just kind of let it go, and that all comes from experience. But really, this is a foundational piece to any business that you want to do, because the mental toughness that has occurred in what you just mentioned. And I think anybody who goes through business long enough, I have some good friends of mine and they're hitting this peak and they're in different businesses and a couple restaurants and a couple other things that they do and all types of businesses that they do. They're just straight up entrepreneurs. And I was talking with them just through text, and I'm like, man, this is like exciting to see all this stuff happen. And I came in on the tail end. I mean, I just known them from like the last 2 years, and I could see this awesome stuff happening in their lives. And they're like, man, this has been going on for 12 years. Yeah. I never knew their full story, right? But they're hitting this peak that is just ridiculously amazing. That's right. I'm going, man, isn't that so true that, normally it takes 10 years for your business to really start going to a place of stability and growth and consistent growth. You going through some of the uh-ohs. We all have those concerns every now and then. But what's interesting is, okay, and because we're all, I'm guessing a little bit under 42 and under, we'll say that.
Yeah.
And so the generation before us, guys, was a generation. And so if you're watching this and you're in the generation that's like 40s and older, you're in a generation where that mental toughness and all those things were already expected out of you to move forward out of it. And the younger generation, which I'm like right in between, when I say younger than the 42, 40s, is a generation that's really grabbing the concept of mental clarity, emotional intelligence, the mindset at a different level, being present in what we do, all those type of things, right? And so I've noticed a shift in that stuff because I'm kind of like right in between. But I do want to set the tone, though, of what Ronnie was saying. So if you're listening to this, here's one of the things that just to go through the stuff that Ronnie just mentioned, you have to, one, really assess yourself, why these things are going on, and then give yourself that mental boost, believe in yourself, right? Because it does come off, and then know, I know exactly what Marty's going through because we've gone through some of those things. I go and say, okay, there's a gap here that we didn't even know about.
Yep.
Let's go and let's address that gap now that we have the time. So when we were doing construction back in the days, I used to do construction and stuff like that. And every now and then there'd be a gap and a lull in business, right? And we just call it the lull in business. And there'd be a day or two that everything kind of overlapped, but there was a delay. And so what people normally do is during that delay is they don't treat it as a work day or as a day to catch up, right? And it's kind of like having a work day. If you're a framer, or if you're a roofer, or if you do something outside and you have a 2-day rainy season on a Monday, Tuesday, and a Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever, that's your time to catch up, right? That's not just your time to and not just catch up, but to boost ahead. Because if you're doing everything correctly, you have 2 days, everything's caught up, you're ready to go. What do you do on the days off? You could be making sales calls. You could be restructuring a couple things. You can be setting things up for the future. You can be assessing some of the stuff that you've done that you might want to advance in and to tweak. And so I see this, and businesses go this way. I mean, it's
would you say those are the times where we're either sitting back and eating the fruit that we've done, or we're continuing to water? Would you say it's kind of the
weather to me? When I hear it, I call it passing weather. I'm an old Harding guy. What's his? I can't remember his first name. What's his name? He's got a book that man, I can't even remember the book. It'll come to me. But he was talking about how during these certain weathers and these certain downtimes, that's your passing weather. That's when you go and you pass up all of the competition, right? Yeah. Whenever stuff like that happens, you muster up and you go, look, I can chill out. It's a Thursday. I don't really have anything going on. I'm going to just reap the reward. Or you go, you know what? Let me pick that thing that was off the shelf that I didn't have time for. Let me dust that off a little bit. Let me look at it. Now I have a different set of glasses on and go, you know what? I think we could start working on this thing now. If I have the time, shoot, if I could get a Thursday every other week, and then if I could get a Thursday every week, and now the old project that was money producing, is a great idea, but you had to put it aside. Now you have the bandwidth to start working on it while everybody else is going, well, you know what? It's I get an extra Thursday off. I don't really want to do any work. I worked hard enough.
Yeah.
So it's a tough thing for me to do whenever it's during the week and I see, like, I know there's money to be made on the golf courses and these other things. It's the thing that I have to work through because I know that it's passing weather for me. Like, that's the time that I could pass up my competition.
Yeah. So Marty, I have a question for you. So kind of tagging onto that and slightly switching gears a little bit. So getting in and getting our mind right and focusing on that time where it's our business building, right? What do you focus on and how do you stay focused in a spot where it's like, what I'm really working on is going to pay off? Like building this cold call system, building this marketing platform, developing people in my company, meeting people at events. Like, how do you create that mental toughness of like this faith that what I'm working on in my real estate company is going to pay off? And how do you decide what is first importance?
It's a great question because it takes time and it takes some real strong belief to go, hey, I'm going to stop myself from doing that high revenue producing activity that I know has worked for me in the past, right? Cold calling, responding to the text messages myself, responding to the letters myself, right? Where that's how we bring money in the door today, right?
Yep.
I'm going to now start coaching other people or employees and then put in my amped up energy that goes into those phone calls, into those people, so that I can have, maybe them not be at 100% Marty level, but if they could be at 70% Marty level, are they closing deals that way? Yes, they are. Yeah, absolutely. And some of them are even better. Some of them you don't need to be 100% Marty. That's just who I am. That's how I'm going to be. But it takes a lot of energy out of me to do that. So it is a switch in mindset to go, hey, I'm going to take a step back to take 4 steps forward by starting to plant seeds in other people or other ideas and other events so that I know it will come back to me in a gigantic harvest. But it's extremely difficult when you're a day-by-day transactional guy. And that's kind of who I am. So I love the transactions daily. I love making sure I'm on top of it. But I also know that I'm not going to be able to do that forever. So you kind of have to understand that, and you got to start thinking about that pretty soon as you start your company.
So is there certain metrics that you're looking for in development? So it's not just a big time suck, Like, where do you, because for instance, I've dealt with this, right? And I think this is what a lot of people go into is like, okay, I'm doing everything. I'm plugging away. I've got my mindset right. I'm dealing with all this crap. All right, I need to build my team, right? Okay, I'm going to hire my first person, whether it's a VA, whether it's an in-person person, doesn't matter who it is, right? I'm going to hire them. And then now 20 hours a week goes into talking to them, right? How do you distinguish and say, yo, my time going into them, like, one, not being solely focused on that so I don't have to do the work anymore and it's kind of like a relaxed session. Like, what's that equilibrium? Like, how do you maintain, their development, their skill? Is it activity? Is it how you feel about it? Is it the amount of energy I can put into it? Like, how do you dictate that amount of that, like, involvement, that investment in those people? Because I'll tell you from my end, and I'm taking the question as soon as I ask it, like, I fired half my people literally 2 months ago, right? Because it was like, yo, this team should be able to do triple what we're actually doing. What we are doing only requires these positions. So I had to make a tough call, fire people. Like, how do you determine, yo, I'm going to have faith that this is going to work out versus, yo, this is or isn't working out? Where's that balance?
It's a really good question for me because, I came from an environment where it was quote unquote management is overrated.
Yeah.
Right. My managers were also producers. So I'm still producing. I'm still on the phones. I'm still doing those things so that I can show them, hey, you're not alone in this adventure. Is that for everybody? No. But again, that's a desire I have, and it's a like I have.
Yeah.
And it keeps me sharp so that I can show them my numbers as well so that they can see, hey, this does work.
Yeah.
Calling does work. I'm doing it. But again, that is not.
You're the captain. You're the captain in the field.
Yes, but that I know is not exactly always scalable, but it doesn't mean that you can stop. I'm always going to be on the call. I'm always going to be dialing. I'm always going to be doing that, right? That's just going to be who I am. I'm always going to do my, 10 contacts by 10.
Yeah.
Right? Little motto I always try to live by, 10 contacts by 10. So, those things are, again, just making somebody, they can see that, hey, this guy's still doing it. This guy's still in it daily.
Yeah.
That is helpful. That is helpful.
And while you're doing that, you're building belief that other people have in you as the leader, but then you're training your captain who can be your next go-to guy that understands the process. So what happens is, I would imagine, and Marty, correct me if you're wrong, if this is the direction you're going, but hey, I'm dealing this 10 by 10. I'm in here. I'm in the friggin' trenches. Then as you develop your next captain, this dude's in the trenches, and then you're talking to the higher level contacts, aka mobile home parks, whatever. This dude's still seeing you freaking plowing away, being crazy. You develop him into the higher level, and now you're talking to the even higher level contacts. So now you've got a captain who's a captain of other captains, and you've got a team, basically an army going after this, that they are working together. So from your side, it's, yo, I'm staying strong. I'm keeping my own mindset right. I'm developing the mindsets of other people. And those people are developing other people to be leaders in the company, all while you're producing. You're not stopping producing and saying, yo, go do this, and stopping what you're doing. Would that be an accurate representation?
Absolutely. That's, again, that is the vision of what we're trying to build, is that's how it looks, right? Because again, that's what I know is that when I worked at my sales job, the guys in front of me were still producing. So you knew they're in the trenches. My president of the company, this guy was 60, he was a millionaire. He was still doing walk-in appointments, like walk-ins, right? Selling $1,000 product, $800 product. He didn't need to do that, but he did that so that he has that FU chip. I'll put it right in the corner right here. I did it too. I was there with you. I was like, those are things that you remember, and those are things that buy a ton of credibility with your employee.
That's good. That's good. Gabe, you look like you have something to add to that.
I think it's really good. I mean, I have nothing to add to that because it's really good, man. I mean, I really appreciate your approach of how you're going about doing it. Yeah, I mean, it's really good. As far as like as team goes, and going back to team and understanding the team and the mindset of the team, I do want to add that we have a culture that we provide, right, for our teams, and how culture it's really tough to build culture without language. It comes hand in hand, right? And so where is your culture going to get the language from? You, right? And so it's the same phrase of like, hey, your actions are so loud, I can't hear what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like, well, you know what do you want your actions to be that everyone sees what's going on around you, from your team to your business to your family to anything that you're doing? People see what you're doing, and that is what's setting the standard. People are hearing what you're doing, and that's what's setting the culture of your organization. And so our culture on our organization, it's been transforming before our eyes. I have some really cool team members. We're working on some really fun projects right now, and some of it takes, I mean, they could clock out at 5 o'clock and they're like, man, I really want to knock this out because tomorrow we have another big goal to accomplish.
Yeah.
I'll stay a little bit longer if you want to stay a little bit longer. I'm like, you know what? I'm here. You're here. Let's knock this part out. Extra 45 minutes, knock it out. Boom. We're so ready for today. That's why I'm able to do this call here and make stuff happen. But it's the culture that underlines it that everything else builds upon, right? So the culture is mindset. So for those who want to know, you could grab an audiobook. We do them for our team. So our team has their own Audible profile for Amazon. So our whole team, I could buy something or they could buy something, or they'll ask and say, hey, I really want to focus on this thing. I'm like, yeah, let's go ahead and do it, from sales to marketing to assistance.
I love that, Gabe.
Yeah, it's really cool, man. And so we put in their growth mindset stuff. So Mindset by Carol Dweck is probably one of the key foundations, because it just kind of talks about having a growth mindset compared to fixed. And then Speed of Trust. Everybody who comes to our company has to listen to Speed of Trust, because what it does is help all of us understand that as we trust each other, we can move quicker, right? Sure. And then as I don't trust someone, I have to go to Marty and say, Marty, did you get that thing done? Well, no, I didn't really get it done. Then I have to ask the second question. Okay, well, let me know what was the hiccup to get it done. Well, I took a nap during the day. Well, okay. Then I have to ask another question. Well, are you getting tired? Are you sleeping well? Like, I'm concerned here. Like, is this a issue, or are you just lazy? Now I have another question. Wow. I go over here to Ronnie's team and they just got it done right away. Right. So there's some differentiating factors within your team. Some people call it full transparency, call it whatever. Trust is a huge thing for us. And then it's mindset. And then we go into how the operation of our company is, and everyone has to listen to those audios that basically what I filled the operation off of. I'm not doing this though, guys, because I want everyone to read a book. I'm not doing this just to educate my team. I'm not doing this just because I want to see the financial growth and revenue growth. I'm doing this because I learned that, especially for me being a dad of 3 kids, that I'll say something and then, 2 days later, they're saying the same thing to each other in the other room. And I'm going, this has helped me so much, because my team talks when I'm not around, and I want them to have that language, right, of growth, of not just positive attitude, but a great freaking attitude, right? Not just talking about, hey, how this deal is going to come through, but like, man, this is going to be freaking awesome. Or a transaction that comes in, or a lead that comes in. Like, hey, we get a lead and we don't know if it's a dud or not, but we're all like, yeah, all right, we got another lead coming in, because we want to hold it to a high standard, right? That seller is asking us, hey, can you provide a value from us, right? Sure. Can you buy, or to me? And we don't want to approach it going, well, only if the numbers work, right? That's not the culture that I want to provide. So anyways, that helps, because what that does is it helps all of us in our team and our cosmos around us and our environment around us. That helps our whole team to start raising to a different level and to a different standard, right? So there's not like a lot of backbiting or anything like that. It's just like, hey guys, I need everyone to be focused on this. Does anyone have time to be focused on this? Maybe in 35 minutes, I can knock it out. Next person saying 45 minutes. And we're just like, let's knock it out. We can all hammer this thing out together. Now the goal is to not have it to be every day, right?
Yeah.
So we have to work on that. So But
I think that's good. So we're coming to the top of the hour here. So what I'd like to do is, what are some final thoughts, right? Mindset for the real estate investor, new guy, experienced. How do you break through that barrier? Either key points from here, or just if you were to leave someone with how to get your mindset right, what does that look like? Gabe, why don't you kick us off?
Goodness gracious. A lot of the stuff I just talked about, it's content that you have going in and the people that are around you, right? So it's the language. And I would probably leave with that. Like, okay, you do have to listen to yourself. Okay, what am I saying to myself? There was a great quote that I saw of like, man, what was the quote? It was something like, hey, be careful of what you say because someone really important is listening.
It's good.
Right? So it's yourself, right? It's you. Like, hey, what are you telling yourself? And so that's really what I would start with, is just, get going in that area and then keep pushing forward.
That's good. That's good. Marty.
Yeah, just like going to the gym, it takes some time to get yourself to that level, right? So, how do you run a marathon? Well, it's one step at a time. And it's the same thing if you've never really thought about your mental strength, right? If you are someone who, let's just say it is just they're mentally fragile.
Yeah.
Guess what? There's a lot of people like that. Yeah. So, but the good news is, just like if you're out of shape and flabby, you can go to the gym and get that tightened up and get that taken care of. It's little wins. So maybe it's, hey, I got up and I did a push-up today, right? Hey, I got up and at the end of the shower, I did 5 seconds of just a cool blast. Or it's, again, I made a promise that I wasn't going to eat XYZ after this time, right? Or I'm going to limit. I usually drink a 12-pack after work. I'm going to drink 10, right? It's you don't learn that in, you don't learn how to get someone who is a GI, like a freaking absolute Navy SEAL. You don't get that mentality in a week. You have to work at it, and it's earned through those disciplines you do. So little by little, one bite at a time.
I love that. One bite at a time. I would be wrong if I didn't mention, what everyone mentions, Think and Grow Rich, right? Starts with your mind, starts with thinking first to grow rich. But on top of that, what I want to add, and I don't know how many people do this, this is another one by Napoleon Hill. And it's his actual life's work, The Law of Success.
Nice.
And part of the law of success with the laws that you're going through is having something to focus on, sharpening yourself every day, having that desire, being able to then put that desire into action, and having a process of, okay, it starts with an idea and it ends with execution, but then keeping the faith through the entire process, right? Where you're adding believability in yourself, you're developing yourself into a leader, you're constantly growing, right? As entrepreneurs, I would say that we are, what's the word I'm looking for? We're junkies for growth.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. We're always in search.
Yeah. We're growing. We want to be able to add more value. We want to be able to grow ourselves. We want to be able to not just have potential, but reach the potential, right? Potential that's not reached just dies, right? It's nothing. It's a baby, right? A baby has potential, but it's the one who grows up and matures and hits that potential and then grows again. And so I think the thing I would leave is, in real estate, constantly have focused growth, right? Focus on, where am I going to get my leads? Believe that you're going to be able to get the leads. Believe that when the lead comes in, I'm not just looking for a good deal, but like, I'm servicing and helping this person. Add the belief to every element of the business. Hey, there's 10 real estate agents out there that can help me find a buyer for my property, right? Reach out, and they want to help me. right? It's not, oh my gosh, what are they going to say? They're going to think I'm a loser and blah, 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 blah. It's no, these guys are there and they want to help me. These sellers want my service. And being able to add that that kind of mindset of, you know what I think I attract, right? The way I operate causes something to happen. And guys, when we talk about mindset, build your self-confidence, build our courage. As we're doing that, reach out for help and just really convince ourselves, right? There's only one person with us forever, and that's ourselves. And I think if we can get our mind right and be our own best friend, dude, I think we'll kill it in this real estate game, whether you're new or you're freaking at the top. Think of how many people are at the top and just crash and burn. It's a mindset game. And it's a mindset game whether you're starting, whether you're on the rise, whether you're at the top, or whether you're struggling. Guys, it's a mindset game in every single area of the business. So let's go ahead and leave with that. Guys, we're here every Tuesday. If there's something you like, I'd love to know the timestamp of what you guys like. Put it in the comments. Like the video, share it. And we'd love to hear what you guys want to talk about and what you guys want us to discuss in our businesses. So until next week, peace.
See you guys.
This has been another episode of Real Estate Power Play, guiding real estate entrepreneurs to a brighter future. If you liked what you heard, consider subscribing wherever you listen to your podcast or follow us on YouTube at Real Estate Power Play.